Hello, this is Dr. Karen Perry from Sam Houston State University in the Library Science Department. I am going to talk a little bit about flexible scheduling in the school library. I'm going to show you an example of my plan book when I was an elementary school librarian. It seems when we've been visiting with students lately that they don't quite get what flexible scheduling might look like in practice. So I figured I would pull out my old plan book and kind of share it with you. So be prepared. It is definitely not a neat thing to look at because it was a working thing. I worked on it, and so I crossed out, and it was messy, and I used pencil, and so it doesn't look great, but it's real life. So first I want to share with you I didn't like the plan books, just the plain old brown plan books that you would get at the beginning of the year from the principal. And so I was making my own plan books for a very long time with my own insides, which you'll see in a minute. And they've evolved over the years, and I just put things that I really liked, just things that made me happy. Books, my favorite books at the time, my favorite movies or TV shows at the time. And so it's fun to look back and see kind of what I was really liking during that time. And so this is my most recent one that I was using at the university. You can see I was really trying with a different inside, but I'm going to go back to a different design. But anyway, I sure do like my covers on this one. So why flexible scheduling, I guess, is the big thing, is the big question. Many times when we're visiting with students, we see most of the time they're in a fixed schedule, not just fixed, but also in the rotation, meaning they are used as a plan period for other teachers. Teachers come in, drop off their kids, the students stay for 45 minutes or so, get a story, check out, library lesson, whatever, and the teacher comes back to pick them up. And back to back to back all day, every day, the same thing. A fixed schedule without being in the rotation, to me, it's exactly the same. However, technically, the teacher should stay in there with the class because it's not a planning period for them. But due to the fact that you still have classes back to back every day, you still don't get the benefit of the freedom that you would with a flexible schedule. So, flexible schedule is what you want to work toward. So Information Power is an older book. I mean, I think it was published in 1998. It's put out by American Library Association. While it's probably mentions old standards, it doesn't matter, because this book still gives you the meat and potatoes of what it means to be a school librarian, what your roles should be, the theory behind it, why we need to be partners with the teachers in student learning. So, Principle 4 in Information Power deals with information access and delivery, and it states the library media program requires flexible and equitable access to information, ideas, resources, and learning. So, flexible schedule. Yes, it allows more freedom for you to work with students, for you to work with teachers specifically. So, it allows for collaboration. That's what you don't have time for in a fixed schedule. You have classes every hour in your library if you're on a fixed or if you're on rotation. When in the world are you going to get to sit down with the teachers during their planning periods and talk to them about what's coming up in their lessons if you're with their students during their planning period? So, by allowing for collaboration, it also leads to authentic student lessons. It's not just isolated lessons of how to find resources in the library, or how to use the index, or how to find a book in the library. It's not just, here's a story that's not related to anything you're doing in the classroom because I don't know what you're working on really. It allows for you to connect what the students are doing with what you do in the library. You'll see some other benefits too. in just a little bit. Okay, so every day is different. Every week is different. Your day is filled with administrative duties, collaboration, teaching. As a flexible schedule, you are able to live your entire purpose of a school librarian just about every day, because there are different duties that you perform during different times of the day due to that day's schedule. So here's an example of my plan book. Now, it's not super clear, but I'm just going to talk to you about what you're seeing. This is my, I've written everything in pencil. This is the second week of school. So the pink, I circled in pink when I was sitting down to plan with a class or grade period, and yellow I highlighted. Those are my admin duties that I was working on that particular week. I suggest you put in your plan book all the things that you're working on. So you'll see, let's see, on that Monday, that top row on the far right, it says find a book for lunch bunch. And so I was starting a book lunch group, and so that's what I was doing. I was deciding on books to use for that group. And I was leaving for a success maker meeting at that time too. And so that way, because see, my plan book was out on my desk, and anybody could come and see where I was and basically what I was doing because they could check in. So that second day, I was updating sub procedures, and I was entering success maker stuff. Now, success maker was a self-paced learning system that our district was using for kids that were behind in reading and math anyway. So I had to I had to update that info for those kids. Part of my duties. I was also like the tech, what was I called? Site contact for my district. And so I had to do technology duties. All right, so you can see that I was then doing a lot of orientation activities that week, of course, because this is the second week. So the first week I did have students in there as well. But I didn't have as many days to share since we usually started school on like a Thursday. So I shared this first full week. So I had orientations with most of the classes. I jotted down which books I was using with each grade so I could keep it straight in my mind. And so that's just basically what I was looking. So there we go, second week of school. All right, so this is another week of school. Little bit further into the semester, just a couple of weeks. I was going over our state children's book award. It was in Oklahoma, so it was called the Sequoia Award. And so 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade participated in that, and I was introducing what I was doing at my school in order to promote that. I wanted to share you there on the far left, it says, I wrote in pink, teacher wrote herself in. Since I had my plan book out, teachers were able to go in and put themselves in. So you'll see that Larissa put her name in at 8 o'clock for Sequoia because her partner, Stieg, she was the other 4th grade teacher, she was coming at 8:30. So she just went ahead and slipped herself in so she could make sure her kids were going at the same, going to be at the same period. They both were hearing the same thing on the same day. So you can see I had also a lot of other administrative duties on. This is the beginning of the year, so I had library meetings coming up. I still have Success Maker going on. I was apparently, I don't know, ordering a cake or something and pink paper. I don't know. So anyway, crazy stuff. Now you'll also see that I had on that Thursday, I had duty. And so I had, as a librarian, it's not always great. At the middle school, I didn't have any type of duty like that. But at the elementary school, I did have duty once a week, and it was recess duty. So for like 20 minutes, once a week, I had to go out and, do my duty. So I had to mark that in. But that was really the only thing that was actually set in stone in my schedule in the week. All right. So another week, I was still working with students on different things. And so you'll see this week is a little bit more empty. So I didn't have as much planned going on with students because we had been busy maybe a week before that or whatever. But I'm working with other classes that I didn't particularly work with the previous week. So like I see, I'll go back. So I had some 5th grade going on. I had 4th grade in the second week here. And I had, let's see, some second grade. Okay, so now on this week, you'll see I'm working with No Walk for presentations. That's a third grade. And Adams on that Monday, that's pre-K. And then I had also carving pumpkins with extended day kindergarten. That was all day kindergarten. And on the early morning, I had McGovern and Williams. Those are first grade. So I'm working with those people that I didn't get the previous week before that. I'm doing things with them. I have my lunch groups scheduled in there on Thursday, and I'm getting myself set up on Friday, you see, for my mystery festival that I'm doing for 5th grade. That's coming the next week. So while I don't see every student every week or whatever, you know, I see them as they come up and as I have time and as they have new things coming up. All right, so on this week, it's showing that something else that's really nice about flexible scheduling is you have the flexibility to work with students more than just on their time when they come in once every 2 weeks. So for example, my big thing every year around October was I used the book Mystery Festival. I got it from, I think, LMS Gems or something was where you can search for that book. And it was basically, it tells you, it has you set a crime scene, and I set it up in the library, and I did it on over a weekend, so when the kids came in on Monday, they saw it, and I did it with 5th grade, and so you'll see the arrows and the X's. So I'm doing Robson's class on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the same time every day, same for Testerman, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On a fixed or rotation schedule, you can't just bump out a group, apparently, and then work with, one group for during a week-long project. And so flexible schedule allows you to do that. Okay, so that's a huge benefit. Another thing I'm suggesting you do with your plan book is mark when you are not in the library. So I was at a conference called Festival of Books that day. So mark all of that stuff in, because there again, people see where you are and what you're doing, and you can use that as, because it's a calendar as well. Okay, so this week I'm planning for an author visit. And so you see that I'm planning with every grade level, because let's see, 2nd through 5th, I think, participating in that. So the pink circles, or I was planning with them. So every day I planned with another group, and there again at the top, another teacher wrote herself in for some Valentine's Day stories. And I also, you see, I had observation with my principal on Thursday, a pre-observation. She watched me with a lesson, and I had post-observation. So there's a big planning week, which led into this week. As you can see, some weeks are busier than others. This is the week where I was doing all of the prep for our author, and we had Ron Roy coming in. And so I had things with every grade level that was seeing him, and so it was a busy week, as you can see. So not only just teaching students, but there again I still have highlighted yellow, which means I'm having to fit my admin duties in. I had a meeting on Tuesday. I had to type up a note for lunch bunch on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I also had to have my book order, my AV order, and my supply order due to our district library coordinator. So, everything is still goes on, and so you just have to plan it out so people can see what you're doing, and you can keep everything organized, because since you're not on a fixed rotated schedule, no day is the same, no week is the same. So remember, you have to still do a lot to keep organized. So you see that it is a plan book, it is a to-do list, it is a calendar. So as far as my to-do list, on the far right on Tuesday, it says buy eggs, Canadian bacon, some pizza. And so what I was doing some, you'll see on Wednesday, doing green eggs and ham with the pre-K students. So I was getting my eggs and my coloring, my food coloring, and my Canadian bacon and everything ready for the next day to cook with the pre-K. So I had that as my to-do list. Calendar, I had OU that night, which is a university in town. And so by keeping everything in your plan book, it's going to help you when it comes time to report your monthly activities to your administration. How many classes did you see? How many students did you see? What kind of lessons did you cover? All of that, what kind of administration duties did you take place? All of those things need to be reported. And if you keep it all in your plan book, it's easier to do that wrap up at the end of the month. So, will every teacher want to work with you? So yes, in the fixed rotation or the fixed schedule or the rotation, yes, you see every student, whatever, every 2 weeks or whatever. But that doesn't mean you're working with teachers. So it's not like you're losing, that kind of quality time with teachers, because so much of the time it's just, those story time and checkout. So what you're going to have to do is you're just going to have to make them want to come to you. And you do that by getting 1 or 2 teachers, and then the others will then see what those kids are doing, and then they jump in. So while they'll have different levels of buy-in, they're still going to want to make sure that their kids are doing what the other 3rd grade kids are doing. And you also can say, it's your way in too. Say, I'm working with Miss Smith. Can I get you in this week sometime? And we can do the same thing, because I know that you're working on your animal habitat projects, and I have this lesson already ready to go, so why not? And so they're going to see that you are working their curriculum into the lessons. And so you just have to make it sound like, or not sound like as it is, you have to make them see how it's not taking time away from them. It's adding to what they're already doing. You are enhancing, you are extending their classroom lessons. So here are some resources that you can go and find. Now, I know that you can't click in the PowerPoint, but I'll put it in the description underneath the video. So there's a position statement on flexible scheduling from ALA, another AASL document, and something that says it's transitioning to flexible scheduling in school libraries. So it kind of walks you through some things to think about when you're making the change. So if you have questions about flexible scheduling and what it might look like, or things that you can do to try and get your administration on board if they're resistant, go ahead and email me at kperry@shsu.edu, and I will be glad to do whatever I can to help. So go out there and start advocating for yourself, for your library, and for flexible scheduling. Thanks for watching.